Hey everybody, and welcome back to my series where I'm talking about all the things that I've learned doing photography over the 12 years that I have been doing photography. Today, what we're going to break down on this third part of my episodes is restaurant photography. I spoke a little bit in my previous episode about event photography and kind of the impacts that that's had on me and things that I learned. But today I want to talk about restaurant photography. Restaurant photography is something that I've been doing for at least the past 8 years, maybe even 9. So let's dive right into it. Before we dive all the way into it, excuse my mess behind me. I didn't decide to set the stage, but it's okay. When you're in the mood, you're in the mood. So when it comes to food photography, like I said, I've been doing it for at least 8 years, I would say now. And the way that it actually started was through an app. It was kind of an accidental sort of thing. I had done a couple food pictures previously, just with people's restaurants that I already knew. I would take a couple pictures here and there. Didn't really do much with it, but where my photography journey really expanded was working through apps. And that is something that I think a lot of people don't think to do when they start out, and they probably should, because I think it gives you really awesome opportunities. Different apps that do, let's say, food delivery, systems like DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, so on and so forth. And so early on, I teamed on with one of these apps and was accepted, fortunately, and started taking pictures of food. Obviously, you get all types of walks of life on these platforms. You get people who have just started their restaurant. They don't know how to place food and make it look nice. You have people who've been in the business for forever and they know exactly how they want it shot. And then you have that, group of people that kind of do it somewhere in between. And fortunately, you're there to kind of fill those gaps and to see all the different things that you can do to make food look appealing. Now, I've done everything from like it being styled, adding the extra sauces, using your fingers to kind of touch it all over, and then of course just doing the general, hey, this is how it's positioned, this is how I'm going to shoot it type vibe. But what I learned specifically with doing restaurant photography is placement and product placement. And I didn't realize that it would help me so much, but it did. Anytime I would shoot products after doing a restaurant, I was already more in tune and more in my mind, knowing exactly what it was that I wanted to photograph because of just how things are placed in their environment. It also helps kind of fill different holes, I guess, when you're photographing things. I think a lot of times things can be boring, and it's kind of your job to make things interesting. So with food, I learned how to do that by placing my different things all around, adding different cups, adding drinks, adding, let's say, chopsticks, forks, knives, so on and so forth. So that was a really cool thing that I was able to pick up by doing restaurants. Now, when it comes to lighting and lighting your food photography, it really depends, right? Like there's different tiers of work. Obviously, if you're going to hire me and me directly to come and shoot your restaurant, I'm bringing the whole setup. Now, if I'm just doing like a quickie, quick sort of thing for like a DoorDash or whatever, I may have like something different. So it kind of does vary. But in my experience and in my opinion, I am a huge proponent and fan of lighting. I'm going to always bring a light with me just because you can never anticipate what environment you're about to walk into. I have shot businesses that have red ceilings. Yikes. I have shot businesses with also black ceilings. Yikes. You have to plan ahead. And usually, I'll bring my on-camera flash. That's something that I always kind of have on me. But with the on-camera flash, again, you are limited to where you can bounce. So lately I've been using my off-camera flash, sometimes using a bounce card here and there depending on if I need it, or I'll use the off-camera and an on-camera flash to kind of get the look that it is that I want. But similarly with product photography, this is something that you have to be really aware of. You can't rely on just, I'm going to be by a window and it's going to be great. If that window has a blue tint, your photos are going to look like So, it's like there's a lot of different proponents. But again, by doing the thousands of restaurants that I've done at this point, these are things that you learn as you go. Now, when it comes to how I approach restaurants, it's all over the place, to be honest. I find this is a tactic that if you are one for this type of stuff, I recommend it. You always do something free first. Once you do something free first, then they catch on that, this person's kind of cool, they do what they say, and then they hire you for other things and other projects down the line. So that's kind of been one of my main approaches to things is kind of that freebie when you begin and they kind of get a taste of what it is that you can offer. Other ways is just email marketing, right? Email marketing, Instagram marketing, things of that sort. They really do help. But I think a big one, which is often overlooked sometimes, is word of mouth, telling the people that you work with, like, hey, if you know of anybody else who may be in need of it, obviously give them my information. I think that that's a big thing in restaurant work specifically, and it really does help. Now, if you are just starting out and you are looking per se to get into restaurant photography or learn how to, photograph food, just, for whatever sake, I always like to say, like, you can start with your own kitchen. You can cook your own items. You can plate them in a way that looks really nice and appealing and test it out with different lighting environments. Take the pretty dish that you just put together and take it outside. Take it by your window. Take it at your dining table. Try to bounce it off of this orange wall or that white wall, and see how you can get these looks. If you don't have any photos to share with businesses to pitch yourself off the rip, then I just suggest, obviously start small. Start with what it is that you have in your own kitchen, and photograph that as a good starting point. It's very easy to do. Or if you have friends or family who have a restaurant, then what you can do is just say, hey friends, hey family, can I just take a couple pictures of a few menu items? And 9 times out of 10, they're probably going to tell you, hell yeah, swing by. And if they say no, then just put that in the budget. Go and eat. Go out to eat at your friend's or family's restaurant and take some pictures of the food. See how you like it. And when you're done taking all those pictures, send it over to that family member and say, hey, these were the pictures I was able to take while we had dinner. Hope you enjoy. And again, that kind of does tie into, you give them a little taste of something that's free, and then they end up coming back wanting some more. If you're looking also to do more recipe cards for different individuals too, that's another option that you have too, is just, if you start at home, you make your backdrops, you set your scenes. This is how it is that you work to get those types of clients. Now, there is a question that I do have is what's maybe my favorite restaurant that I've shot at? And that's a really hard thing to kind of pinpoint, because there's been a lot of places that I've been to that I did not expect would be very good, and I was surprised at how amazing they were. I just kind of pulled up blindly through maybe an app or something and then was like, oh my god, this is crazy, this is awesome. In LA, I did shoot for Bloodso's a couple times, which was pretty cool. They were a legit brisket, barbecue spot, and that was super cool. And I remember the chef was really cool too. He sat and chatted with us about having worked with Kanye and Kim and doing this and that, and I was like, damn, this is kind of cool. But yeah, I remember that one really well. A recent one is for Gauchos in Houston. I had never been to a Brazilian steakhouse, so shooting a Brazilian steakhouse was pretty cool to me. And something different, But I've had so many in between. And what's the best part about shooting food, and especially through some of these apps, is that you get to get introduced to different parts of your town, of your city, and you get introduced to a lot of good ass food, a lot of good food. So for me, restaurant photography has been something that has really stuck with me over the years. It's been something that has been really awesome to kind of be a part of my journey amongst other aspects of photography, like I said, especially doing weddings and events, concerts, and so forth. But these are some of the things that I learned doing restaurant photography, and I hope that they were helpful for you guys. If you have any questions, let me know down below. And yeah, be sure to hit that subscribe button if you want to hear the remaining parts of this series, where we break down the 12 things that I've learned so far in the 12 years of me doing photography. See you guys in the next video. Bye.